Hello, I am Larissa, and this is the February update of Project Side Characters. I got a microphone this month. However, I have no way to connect it to my phone, so I either have to figure out recording videos on my laptop or get a converter to connect it to my phone. So for right now, we continue with the phone microphone. My voice is very bad right now, and also my family are all home, so I am being very quiet, and I apologize for that. This month I started with nothing but a prologue and a main character thing. Titles like this are very confusing with my book. It's not fun. Who had just been completely redone. I not only rewrote the scrap chapters from last month, I also wrote one extra chapter. Apparently, thought it was more, but yay. In my defense, we did move into a new house, and my newest hyperfixation is stealing all of my remaining free time. Anyway, moving on to the lore drop section of this video. This is actually something I had planned on discussing in my previous video, but felt like it made the script too long. I'm still figuring out how long scripts are compared to videos and such. It's a process, but I'll figure it out, and hopefully the quality of these videos will increase significantly once then. Anyway, my goal for this series is that, as the author, is a bit more than just, hey, write a cool story people might like. I have a couple different goals, honestly. First and foremost is when I apply to most projects I plan, and that is to challenge myself as a writer. Up to this point, all my writing has been focused on Shattered Peace, which is a very self-indulgent story in both writing and plot. I lost my place in my script. One of the things I do in that story is the point of view swaps, and not just like with different chapters, but I do it whenever I do it, sometimes by scene. By doing this, I allow the readers to see directly into the view of a lot of different characters' heads for a lot of different stuff. You get to experience more, understand more about how the different characters think and stuff. With Project Side Character, I will be writing the entire book, minus epilogue and prologues, in a single character's point of view. One of the challenges with this is that I have always loved being able to make my characters more complex in the way where you can see the different views of how they act, and you get to see their own reasons for why they do stuff. An easy example for this is Crow throughout the series. Obviously, you guys have only seen Prophecy Foretold if you've seen that, but still. When Prophecy Foretold is the more apparent friend of the group. Him and Salsa. He would do almost anything to protect them, and throughout Endless Mourning and Killer's Return, you see him with that view of himself still, and how he acts to protect people. But in other people's point of views, it's not quite the same. In Froggy's view, you see him in most of Endless Mourning. She doesn't see him as a protector and more of a antagonizing and selfish person. But you watch as they grow close again and her view changes. And they fix the issues with the relationship. But despite him fixing his relationship with Froggy, Crow does not notice that he has not solved his issues with the other, specifically Bud. It is at this point I realize I'm rambling and entirely off topic. Back to topic though, because this is a ramble that I will not be able to stop if I get on. Well, I could tell Shattered Pieces story in just one point of view. It gave the readers a unique view, and while I could write Project Side Characters switching point of views, it kind of destroys the purpose of writing of the second challenge, which is to tell it through the eyes of the side characters. I've seen plenty of posts talking about like the side characters, superheroes and such, and the concept has intrigued me. And although this project isn't about superheroes, I still thought it would be a cool concept to explore. One of the other challenges in this series that I'm trying out a more in-depth planning than I've tried with any of my other books. It's not extremely in-depth because I am not mentally prepared for that at all. But I am giving myself more of a structured way to try out planning. This series will be doing more for me than just letting me test out these different writing styles and planning styles as well. The reason I even decided to start working on this project and put Free on hold for a bit was because I needed something I could compare to Shattered Peace, and it would be unfair for me to compare the series with a single book. Now, why do I need to compare Project Side characters with Shattered Peace? Well, I want to try out attempting to get a publisher to publish my books instead of self-publishing. I could always attempt to get a publisher to pick up Shattered Peace, but because of how important that project is to me myself, I don't like the idea of giving control over it to someone else. Instead, I decided I would use a box project of mine with Project Side Characters being another series. It felt right to use it. Currently, I plan on finishing Prophet, the first book in Project Side Characters, and then sending it out to publishers while I begin to put more focus back on Shattered Peace again. As for if Project Side Characters gets picked up by a publisher, I'm pretty certain I'll continue to self-publish Shattered Peace and potentially other projects similar to it. But until I actually experience what it's like with a publisher, I don't know what I'll do beyond those. I believe this is all I had to talk about for this video. Next video I'll go into the lore of the world once more. For now, goodbye. Drink some water. Stay safe. Check out my other stuff if you'd like. Goodbye.